At first, it kind of just was a thing I was trying, and then eventually I saw that people at conventions were really into it, and I started kind of having a fan base. So I'd like to say the style that I developed is not necessarily my own. I'd say it was something that was built by the fans. My name is HaiNaNu Saulque. I go by the name of Nooligan, and I'm gonna draw an original character named Smiles. I like to kind of map it out by just doing some rough sketches, kind of get some flow into the body, into the face structure, into the emotions of everything. So I kind of just keep it loose, and then I start to kind of flesh it out as I keep reworking it and then seeing where I'm at with everything. For the most part, I don't always know where I'm going with it. It's kind of just a play by ear, seeing how things are kind of looking, and I change things up on the fly. I don't feel like there should be any pressure when you're kind of doing this. I feel like it should just flow naturally and feel right and stuff like that. I feel like when you have an idea to begin with, it's just you're gonna be disappointed because you already have expectations of what you're doing, and I just kind of let it happen for itself. This is a character I've developed. It's probably about 8 or 9 years old, and I started working on him for like a creator-owned comic, and since stopping the comic, he's almost kind of just became my mascot. So I know him in and out, and kind of makes it easy for me to like play around with him and draw him on the fly like I'm doing right now. I'd like to say that this style is kind of not necessarily something that I kind of just made up on my own. It kind of started with some inspirations from old cartoons, golden age cartoons to old school comics, newspaper comics, and old animation. And I started kind of just putting it out there because I'm not somebody that was picked up by a studio or a comic book thing. I just kind of did my own thing, and I've always had the fans there to kind of push me onwards and let me know what I'm doing right, would let them know what they're interested in, and I kind of kept developing it just based on their interest, and find that to be more of a unique way of doing things, and I kind of just fell into what it is now, and I'm grateful for everything I've learned and got from all the fans and everybody else, because without them I don't think I would be doing anything. So this is kind of just based on all their kind of input and everything else. It's kind of like data collecting over the years. Been doing this for about 15 years at shows, and been a long, long ride. So like, even when I was given the DC Artist Alley, it was something that was me just being on the floor and being here and having them come to the convention and have them coming across me and then offering me something like that, which is kind of a dream that I had never expected to happen. I always thought it was kind of a surreal moment to be offered something like that, especially with no kind of comic book background, no anything, just based off of pure characters. So it's really cool to have you know, my place in history amongst all the people that have worked on Batman and worked on Joker and Harley Quinn, and then Nightwing especially. That for me was really a big deal because I was able to kind of make Nightwing my own, instead of like looking at everybody else that came before me and doing something that is pretty standard. I kind of was able to take some liberties and do something unique and try to create something fresh for like a newer generation. And I'm immensely proud of how that Nightwing came out. And there's a part of me that kind of wishes I can kind of develop a story around the way that I kind of created him and stuff. So all that stuff is really great, and that, like, it kind of just helps me kind of keep going, keep creating, keep helping developing this style and stuff like that, and try to keep it evolving and keep it fun, man. The comics are supposed to be fun. I kind of came into this business to do comics, and then I ended up kind of falling into a thing where I'm designing characters for toys and statues and maquettes and stuff like that. So it is really, really cool to be working with Sideshow Collectibles on not only just licensed characters and stuff like that. They offered me original characters, which is something that it's crazy for me, and I'm super excited to kind of show everybody what I'm working on with them. And so yeah, Sideshow Collectibles is my next stop. You know, since the DC stuff is done, and now we're kind of moving forward and we're trying some new stuff, and I'm really excited to see what happens with that, and hope everybody's really into it and they kind of support it, especially because it's something that is purely just me, which is a hard sell. And I'm hoping that, like, kind of based on the work I do, the style, and the originality of it, and the attitude, kind of captures enough interest where people will support it and be really into it and kind of just see what I'm doing for the rest of the year. All the convention circuits and stuff like that, I'm going to be trying to pump the new stuff so people kind of get an idea of what's happening and what they're going to be seeing from Sideshow when we start kind of rolling out what's happening. So it's an exciting time for me, and we'll see how it all goes, you know? I'm kind of just a purely like a colored pencil guy, and then I like to use brush pens. Brush pens for me, you have a little bit more control of getting a thin to thick line based on whenever you need line weight, which kind of just helps with flushing things out, building things up, making things more prominent, pushing more things back. I'm a big fan of traditional drawing, and especially because I can keep it more loose and fun, so it kind of gets me build more body movement. The flow of the character should be basically based on your hand. It gives it more life. So I tend to draw more based on the animator's perspective because it kind of gives the character more body language and it says more and stuff like that. Then afterwards, I'm able to restructure that with a more finished product, rearranging it, editing it, and making it on the computer and kind of doing all the stuff to make it look presentable to the public and for other kind of situation. But initially, I like to keep things loose and keep it fun so I can kind of restructure it. And for the most part, brush pens, pencil, some markers, and I kind of just go with it and see how everything flows. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be just an idea that you can build upon. And I find my best work comes from a really rough piece of work and then finding all the everything that needs to be restructured. When you take it to the computer, you see all the things, all the flaws, all the things that you need to be rearranged. But the actual blueprint and the map is always already there because you've done all the work and you've done all the movement and done everything else. So from that point, it's just kind of a polishing stage. And so I always kind of find that to be the best way to go about things. My best works always came from just kind of roughing out something and then kind of going from there. Well, there it is. It's my character, Smiles. It's kind of like my mascot, going around taking him on tour and taking him everywhere I go. He's kind of just became a part of who I am. My name is HaiNaNu Saulque. I go by the name of Nooligan, and this is Smiles.